And now the news in full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Abuja on Tuesday honored the acting Chief of Army Staff Major General Olufemi Olatubosun Oluyede by promoting him to the rank of Lieutenant General during a ceremony held at the State House. The decoration of the acting Army Chief was held at the President's office. President Tinubu commended the military for its unwavering courage, dedication and patriotism in maintaining the nation's security. President Tinubu assured the military that the government would always listen to their advice and keep the country on the path of peace and prosperity. The president attributed the success recorded in tackling terrorism and banditry to the synergy in the armed forces and urged the service chiefs to sustain harmony in their relationship for the betterment of the country. Lieutenant General Oluyede expressed deep gratitude and acknowledged the solemnity of the occasion. He reiterated his commitment to upholding the vision of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, and to maintaining peace across the country.
Well, it means a lot to me, even though within a sober, situation. It means a lot to me because I put in all my best all through my career to give Nigeria the best.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to addressing its growing nutrition challenges through a community-driven strategy aimed at transforming nutrition outcomes across Nigeria's 774 local government areas. This is just as the World Bank has lauded the 774 Initiative Strategic Framework as a potential model for tackling malnutrition in the country and across the region. Speaking during a meeting with a higher-level delegation from the World Bank Group at the Presidential Villa Abuja on Tuesday, the Vice President represented the comprehensive N774 initiative, which builds on successful outcomes from the Accelerating Nutrition Results in Nigeria project. The Vice President, while acknowledging the support of the World Bank on numerous nutrition programs across Nigeria, noted that the N774 initiative comes at a crucial time considering the ANRIN project closeout. The Vice President explained that the N774 initiative is a localized community-driven solution tailored towards the unique needs of each local government areas and aims to bring nutrition interventions directly to communities while encouraging local ownership and ensuring sustainability. The federal government has reversed the 18 years admission age into tertiary institutions in Nigeria as introduced by the former Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman. The new Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, made the pronouncement in Abuja while addressing journalists alongside the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Suwaiba Ahmed, on their programs for the education sector. Correspondent Kunujo reports that the minister said the earlier decision on not 18 years admission age was as a result of the new policy recently introduced, noting that the federal government, after careful consideration of the decision, has no choice than to abolish it.
Great opportunity for them. We have to let them excel. These will be the geniuses in our society. They are the ones that will go and be the innovator of what we need. They are the ones that are genetically endowed to move. They're not part of our general society.
He also hinted at the possibility of reviewing the nation's education policy. However, on the issue of fake certificates, the minister stated that there will be no reversal of the federal government decision to void over 22,700 degree certificates obtained by Nigerians from some fake universities in neighboring Togo and the Benin Republic. He stated that practical education will help to address the unemployment situation in Nigeria, as tertiary institutions will not continue to churn out graduates every year without providing jobs for them.
There will not be reversal of that policy. Some former Minister of Education walked through the Ministry of Education process, did diligent work in verification. And these were not just hearsay, they did a lot of forensic evidence gathering, went to some of those universities, identified the fake ones, the ones that meet a standard. You know, we can't create a situation
Legal experts have called on the federal government to rehabilitate the 119 minors that were released today at the Federal High Court in Abuja. The minors were arrested and arraigned for their involvement in the End Bad Governance protest held across the country in August 2024. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana made the call while reviewing a book titled Judicial Terrorism in Abuja on Tuesday. Falana said struggle for justice in Nigeria is a peculiar task which the judiciary must always allow all Nigerians to be treated with equality. He threatened to sue the federal government if it did not rehabilitate those minors in terms of shelter, education and other welfares that they will be needing to survive.
These young people, who ordinarily should have been in school during the protest, must be rehabilitated by the government, and we are going to ensure that they are rehabilitated. If the government fails, we are going to court to sue the government because it is the responsibility of the government, by virtue of the Child Rights Law, which has been adopted and enacted into law by all the states of the Federation. Madam Deputy Governor, Section 15 of that law provides that every child in Nigeria shall be given free and compulsory education from primary to junior secondary school.
The Attorney General of the Federation applied a nolle prosequi and we were discharged but not acquitted. Immediately thereafter, we were rearrested and returned to the Kaduna prison on the orders of the tribunal chairman.
The House of Representatives Committee on Renewable Energy has summoned the Ministers of Power, Budget, Planning and Economic Development and other concerned ministers, departments and agencies, MBAs, to appear before it on Wednesday. Chairman of the committee, Honorable Afam Ogene, gave the ruling in Abuja following the absence of the ministers and other heads of agencies at the commencement of a two-day investigative hearing on government investment and grants received for renewable energy development from 2015 till date. Honorable Ogene, while ruling that the committee finds it very distasteful that the sectors of renewable energy were all absent, vowed that the committee is determined to get to the roots of the investigation.
We are not after any individual or particular agencies, but they must come to answer to the parliament. If there have been lackadaisical in handling other committees, this is a different committee. We will take it a little easy because today is the first day of the hearing. By tomorrow, I don't think that we will be this lax in dealing with people that we have invited over time.
Earlier, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, while declaring the hearing open, said it is not to witch hunt but to identify the challenges and prefer solutions to it. Abbas, who spoke through the House Minority Whip, Honorable Ali Isa, therefore charged MDAs and stakeholders of the hearing to be transparent in their dialogue.
I commend the committee for its commitment to overseeing the sector and ensuring that the investment made serve the public interest. Since 2015, Nigeria has attracted billions of dollars in grants and investment into it. These funds were intended to revolutionize our energy infrastructure reduce our dependency on fossil fuel, and untimely address our pressing electricity challenges.
You're still on to Galaxy Primetime News, and coming up next. Over 93 students who are on scholarship at Cyprus International University are currently stranded over unpaid tuition. This is these and more we come to you shortly. To stay with us. We're glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTVNews. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live update and comment, as you can easily scan our IJQR code. The Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) has attributed the latest grid collapse to a series of lines and generators tripping. Recall that the grid collapse led to all the electricity generation plant not producing and electricity around 2 p.m. In a statement, the General Manager of TCN Public Affairs in Didimba said the partial disturbance was experienced about 1:54 p.m. She, however, said data from the National Control Center (NCC) revealed that a part of the grid was not affected by the bulk power disruption. The statement revealed that engineers are already working to quickly restore bulk power supply to the state affected by the partial disturbance. It added that presently bulk power supply has been restored to Abuja at 2:49 p.m., while effort is on gradually restoring to other parts of the country. The company sincerely apologized for every inconvenience this may cause its electricity customers. No fewer than 93 Zamfara students who earn scholarships at Cyprus International University are currently stranded over unpaid tuition, accommodation, feeding allowances, and improper documentation. The Commissioner of Education, Science and Technology, Zamfara State, Wadatu Madawaki, said the disclosure while speaking with journalists in Abuja, while assuring that Governor Dawda Lawal is taking every possible step to repay all the outstanding debt. Madawaki blamed the previous government of Bello Mutawale, who is now the current Minister of State for Defense, for their plight. These concerns comes 2 days after the Zamfara chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Nuruddin Salisu, voiced a similar concern over the disheartening situation the students in Cyprus are facing.
The spirit of fairness and just balancing, the attention of the Zamfara State government, and in particular the State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, and or its parastatal, that is the Zamfara State Scholarship Board, should give its own side of the story of the difficulties that these students are facing. Gentlemen of the press, the main reason for convocation of this conference is to put the records straight and disabuse the minds of the general public, most especially the parents of those students sent to study at the Cyprus International University by the previous administration.
The commissioner lamented that the young scholars embarked on an academic journey to acquire knowledge vital to the future of the state, but regrettably found themselves caught in a quagmire of humiliation and academic disruption.
When the administration took over, we found out that between 2014 to 2023, the administrations of that period refused to pay NECO fees for the forensic students. The students have written their exams, they were waiting for their result, but the monies were not paid. So they were roaming about and they were used as political thugs.
The lecturer system is a process to elect government for a stipulated period of time. Credibility based on integrity could be a yardstick for free and fair election, which no doubt will produce an acceptable winner who will give a selfless service for the period of time of the mandate. The sophistication in the United States electoral system, though may not be completely blameless, is a thing to emulate compared to what we have in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Galaxy News correspondent Lebby Joseph has more in this report.
In an electioneering process, who is allowed to vote, who emerges as candidate, the formation for the ballots and how the ballots are counted and results transmitted, including some other pre-election factors like campaign spendings and inducements, are formidable determinants of outcome of any election. Looking at the seamless electoral process of the United States, where millions of voters are expected to vote, and a winner will emerge between Donald Trump of Social Democratic and Kamala Harris of the Republican as the next president, which is unarguably the strongest in the world, and the system of voting in Nigeria and indeed entire Africa. It is crystal clear that so much is left to be desired.
The American voting system is premised on law, and the law is allowed to take its course to the brim in America. Ours is based on law, but then it's like we keep devising day in, day out ways of circumventing that law. If for one reason the thing skate through a particular election, you can be sure that in the next election, politicians in this part of the world, because we lack one major thing, integrity. People don't care about their name. People don't care about their integrity.
It talks about a system that works. It talks about a system that is technologically advanced. It talks about a system that recognizes the use of technological tools in advancing citizens' participation in democracy and in leadership. And these things basically do not work in Nigeria, or are not working in Nigeria, because of certain issues which we may not be able to decipher even right now. But we do know that Nigerians do not have electronic voting. We don't use electronic voting. What we tag as electronic voting basically is not electronic voting. It's basically a transmission of results.
Regardless of variations that may occur in the electoral system, integrity of political gladiators, and most especially the electorate is key to sustainable democracy. The trend of vote buying, which has expunged ballot stuffing and snatching, is a monster that's currently subverting the genuine wishes of the people in any election in Nigeria.
People don't look at this democracy as their own. People are not ready to work on this democracy. Then whatever reforms that we need to have, it's going to be a waste. The Electoral Act we have a very wonderful Electoral Act. How effective is the Electoral Act? How effective are citizens and politicians abiding with the Electoral Act? How effective are political parties obeying the Electoral Act? One of the major problems of the democratic institutions that we have in Nigeria is the inability for all stakeholders to adhere to the provisions of the Electoral Act.
In this part of the world, there is a deliberate attitude to ensure that things don't work. In the other side, there is a system, and the system works with the institutions, and the delivery of both the system and the institution is close to predictable, unlike ours where you cannot predict. I only hope that they will not emulate us.
Nigeria and entire Africa need to re-engineer the electoral process by creating a system that will be void of all electoral malpractices and provide opportunities for more people to participate in the election process. From Lagos, this is Lebi Joseph reporting for Galaxy TV News.
The last may not have been heard regarding demolition of over 100 buildings at Sabon Lube area of the Federal Capital Territory, as residents who are victims have initiated plans to embark on a massive protest in designated areas in Abuja to draw the attention of the presidency to their plight. To ensure that the protest is peaceful, the victims said they have written officially to the Inspector General of Police and the Director General of the Department of State Services (DSS) to ensure that the protest is not hijacked by hoodlums. Correspondent Kunujo reports that the victims, through their spokesman Barrister Lolu Kalu, raised an alarm over alleged planned sale of the demolished property by the FCT minister for a sum of 30 billion naira. Not only that, the victims are now poised for a showdown with the Federal Capital Territory Administration over plans to put up their property for sale.
As I speak to you, we have the instruction of some of the residents and subscribers of the same place to write to the IGP, Director of DSS, because they are planning for a very massive protest to the Villa and to the National Assembly to go and ventilate their grievances against the wickedness of Nelson Wike. Because he is doing it because of his selfish interest, not because that place is not legally allotted to my client.
They insisted that the land upon which their over 200 billion naira buildings were erected was allocated to them with due process of the law and upon payment of all the statutory fees. The victims appealed to President Bola Tinubu to call the FCT minister to order so that peace, social and economic policies of government can flourish in the FCT, just as they promised not to take laws into their hands in spite of the glaring injustice, but would pursue the litigation to a just conclusion.
And illegally demolished property worth over 200 billion naira and rendered over 100 families homeless. So why will the Honorable Minister, because of mega 30 billion naira, go and demolish a place that had been that my client had invested over 200 billion naira in developing the area, just for 30 billion naira?
Healthy lifestyle has been described as a way of living that lowers the risk of being seriously sick or dying early. While health is not only just about avoiding disease, but also about physical, mental and social well-being. These were the messages of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Adeboale, who was represented by his Deputy Vice Chancellor of Administration, Professor Peter, at the awareness campaign rally on healthy living for the academic community. The DVC stressed that it is only a healthy workforce that can be productive, hence the need to create awareness and sensitization on the need to maintain a lifestyle that will prevent diseases, which is cheaper and safer. In her own remarks, the Director of Health Services, Dr. Adewunke Ajav, said the university has mandated that all staffs must undergo basic health checks so that if anyone is diagnosed of any ailment, it can be treated before it becomes a full-blown ailment. She urged people to also spread the message to their families and friends.
The fact of the matter is that a healthy workforce is also a productive workforce. So we must, we are looking at this in those two perspectives. The productivity of the organization, the productivity of the individual, and the health of the individual. So we should not really focus on just health care. We should actually focus on healthy living. There are certain things you need to do to be healthy. You don't wait until crisis situation. You don't wait until you fall sick. You take some proactive steps that will prevent sickness, that will prevent illnesses, that will prevent diseases.
It has been confirmed that healthy living contributes to a good future, a better quality of life that is sustainable, and it aids in the prevention of preventable illnesses, diseases, and death. God is the ultimate wellness. And if God says end, end. But what can be prevented? What our contribution can have an effect on? We are saying, let's do our part. Every category that can impact on our health, our staff, there's the approval from the university to do basic health check for all our staff, so that if anything is picked, it will be treated before it becomes a full-blown illness.
No fewer than 20,000 Ogun residents have received over 1 billion naira in the state under the 50 billion naira federal government cash grant. This was disclosed during a stakeholders town hall meeting held with business owners in Abeokuta to sensitize them on the need to take full advantage of the federal government loan package to boost their business and further create more job opportunities. In his address, the state manager of BOY, Michael Agidanani, urged business owners to register for the federal government residential loan, which has been put in place to support the growth of businesses in the country. Also speaking, the Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Adebola Shofela, said that the 200 billion naira Presidential Intervention Fund, including the Presidential Conditional Grant Scheme and Loan Scheme, represent an invaluable opportunity for MSMEs and manufacturing businesses to access vital financial support.
So far, over 1 billion has been disbursed to beneficiaries in Ogun State. Over 20,000 beneficiaries in Ogun State have benefited under that fund, and it has impacted up to 20 local governments, because the target is about 1,000 beneficiaries per local government. So that has been a very effective program that bank-wide at the moment is over about 40 billion that has gone out nationwide.
Today's event is a valuable opportunity for MSMEs to learn about the application process for the Presidential Intervention Fund and to connect with government officials and financial institutions.
While lauding President Bola Tinubu for the initiative, he expressed confidence in the scheme.
I didn't think it was real at first, but when it came, and I was very, very happy because it was put to good use. We know that things are not actually very, very rosy at the moment, even with the economic situation that we are in.
The candidates is a real program. Some have benefited from it. Seriously, they have benefited. Actually, I registered at least like 150, but to God be the glory, at least I can have at least 25 members that collected the grants.
The Benue State government, in collaboration with Save the Children and other partners, have launched key humanitarian and development project in the state multi-sectoral needs assessment report. The state deputy governor, Dr. Samude, who represented Governor Hyacinthe Alia during the launch in Makurdi, expressed state government commitment in addressing humanitarian challenges through transformative solutions in all parts of the state, stating that the MSNA document represents a pivotal step in Benue State humanitarian strategy, providing a comprehensive roadmap to tackle critical issues such as food security, healthcare, water and sanitation, education and protection services ahead of the forthcoming durable solutions strategy.
This event symbolizes our determination to respond to the immediate and long-term needs of our people and demonstrate our shared vision for a Benue State where challenges are met with durable and transformative solutions.
This document is our document. It is Benue State document for all to utilize in planning and targeting. We are hopeful that it will form the basis for resource mobilization to support the needs of the people and improve their conditions.
Presenting the assessment reports, which lays a comprehensive foundation For prioritizing projects, the coordinator Save the Children outlines strategies for supporting vulnerable populations through coordinated multi-agency responses with vital support of partners in deploying resources while emphasizing need for food, shelters, among others.
A multi-federal needs assessment was conducted to understand the education needs of the people displaced, including the protection, food security and livelihood, water, sanitation and hygiene, health and nutrition.
This assessment is vital as it will guide our resource mobilization, proposal design and interventions for the good people of Benue. This report will serve as an advocacy tool for engaging with both unilateral and multilateral donors and organizations.
Governor of Bayelsa State, Doidiri, has berated the management of the Niger Delta Development Commission and the DC over what he described as being in competition with it rather than forming a working synergy for the good of the state and region. Governor Diri made the disclosure when he received the management team of the intervention agency led by the managing director. The governor, however, directed all ministries to seek approval from the state government before interfacing with the NDDC.
In competition with the state government. Rather than complementing the state government, NDDC sees itself as competing with the state government, and that has to stop. And henceforth, all ministries are hereby directed. Any project in NDDC without the approval of the state government should not be allowed. The law should be taking its course.
The governor frowned over the non-involvement of the state government in a visit to flooded areas by the NDDC, as the MD stressed on sustaining the unity in the region.
So the places where flood will always come, whether it's a high flood or low flood, those communities will be affected. Biseni is one of them. If you consulted us, we would have said, okay, take the IDP camp, rather than OD, take it to Biseni. NDDC should not be involved in only solar lights. I thank you for solar lights. There is so much that we can do for our people. St. Paul, Elemebri, and then to other states.
We, as Niger Deltans, we are all the same. We are united by our common challenges, which are ecological. We are united in our challenges, and when we come together, we can confront these challenges. We are committed to ensuring that we finish everything we start. That is why we are vigorously pursuing some of the projects that we have started.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has said that the distractions of his administration will not stop him from completing the ongoing construction works at health facilities across the state. Governor Fubara made this known during the inspection of construction works at the Omokuzono Hospital in Igbema, Ndoni local government area of the state. The governor said despite the resolve of those against his government to put the state in crisis, health facilities in the state will be completed in the shortest possible time.
I want you to know that this afternoon is a reconfirmation of our commitment to the Rivers people. That notwithstanding the boast of the people who believe they don't want this state to go forward, that this state will be in fire so that we'll be distracted for governance. We want to tell them that while we face the fire, our eyes are on the ball. We will ensure that this particular project is delivered on time, along that of Bori, by the special grace of God before the end of this year.
The Federation of Ekiti State Student Union, FESU, has condemned the proposed trip by members of Ekiti State House of Assembly for a retreat in Canada costing over 250 million naira. Addressing journalists at a news briefing in Ado Ekiti, the president of the association, Benjamin Oniwolu, described the trip as ill-conceived and insensitive to the pressing issues affecting the livelihood of the common man. According to him, the fund, if channeled to educational sector, will cover 50,000 naira bursary for over 5,000 students of the state in their respective constituencies. First, he commends Governor Biodun Oyebanji for giving priority to education, especially the digitalization of state bursary and scholarship application process. It, however, called for the immediate reverse of the mandatory 280,000 naira hostel charge imposed by the Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital College of Nursing Sciences at Do-Ekiti.
It must be stated emphatically that we consider the said self-sponsored Canada trip planned by the State House of Assembly as ill-conceived. This is not time for such an endeavors, especially when the state requires the support of every stakeholder to address pressing issues affecting the livelihood of common man and salvage our education sector.
Appreciate the government of Ekiti State in digitalization of the bursary and scholarship scheme. However, we demand an increment in the state bursary award from 20,000 naira to 50,000 naira to meet the current economic challenges and alleviate the financial burdens on parents at this period in time of the state.
Kogi State Government is set to collaborate with Nigeria Export and Promotion Zones Authority to create special economic zones in the state. Governor of the state, Usman Ododo, disclosed this while addressing journalists after a closed-door meeting with the NEPSA management at the authority's headquarters in Abuja on Tuesday. Ododo, who was represented by his chief economic advisor, Aliu Salami, stated that the state is blessed with natural resources, especially agricultural produce, which can be exported and serve as an additional way to generate revenue in the country. He further sought the support, cooperation and expertise advice of NEPSA for the establishment and operation of the economic zones in Kogi State. In his remarks, the Managing Director of NEPSA, Olufemi Ogunyemi, has said that the authority will develop strategies that will create value and job opportunities by utilizing the economic zones after its establishment.
It's still part of, improving the economic status of the state. NEPSA is the Nigerian economic.
Today, I'm going to government team, one of my officers being contracted to guide them through the application process.
The main opposition party in Delta State has hailed the arrest of the immediate past governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, as a positive step in the fight against corruption. The APC, in a statement by the Publicity Secretary, Valentine Onugwe, commended the federal government for its decisive action, urging the EFCC to continue its investigation into the financial dealings of all the former governors and public officials. The party emphasized that the arrest reflects a broader agenda to curb corruption and ensure that public funds benefit the citizens rather than serving personal interest. Okowa, who served as governor from 2015 to 2023 as a Delta State governor, was arrested and detained on Monday by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in Port Harcourt over allegation of fraud, embezzlement and misappropriation of public funds belonging to Delta State. The federal government has issued a 14-day notice of contract termination to Julius Berger over alleged non-compliance with reviewed cost, scope and terms, stoppage of work and refusal to remobilize to site. Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano, Dual Carriageway, Section 1, Abuja, Kaduna. The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, who issued the notice after a meeting between management and the ministry and the company in Abuja, said the decision was born out of several months of going back and forth without any meaningful progress. He further hinged the federal government's decision to terminate the project on non-compliance with reviewed cost, scope and terms, stoppage of work and refusal to remobilize to the site as directed. According to him, the ministry has in the last 13 months been in constant talks with the company to reach an amiable position on the said alignment, but to no avail.
The directors, we have director in charge of design and bill of quantities. We have directors in charge of special projects. We have director in charge of legal services. We have a director in charge of finance. We have director in charge of human resources. We have a director in charge of Northwest. We have director in charge of this project. We have director of information.
The minister stressed that the contract for the rehabilitation of the Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano dual carriageway, which was divided into 3 sections, was awarded to the company on 20th of December 2017 and flagged off by the then Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, at an initial sum of 155.74 billion naira on the 18th of June 2018. And I'll move over to the foreign desk for more news.
This is news from the international scene. Election day voting has begun in the United States, with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris vying to become the next president. Harris has advocated for abortion rights and pledged to lower food and housing costs for working families, while Trump has vowed to seal the border and has proposed tax cuts worth trillions. It's not just a choice between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump today. Voters in America have plenty else to decide on. Abortion rights are on the ballot in 10 states, including the battleground states of Arizona and Nevada. 1/3 of the U.S. Senate, 34 of its 100 seats, is also up for grabs. Democrats currently control the Senate by a 1-seat margin. In the U.S. House of Representatives, the lower chamber of Congress, all 435 seats are up for election. As they are every 2 years, Republicans currently have a slim majority. Recreational or medical marijuana use is also in ballot in 4 states: Florida, Nebraska, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Referendums on voting and election in some areas, voters will also choose how they want their elections to be run. A series of pacifier targeting courier companies in Poland, Germany and the UK were dry runs aimed at sabotaging flights to the US and Canada, Polish prosecutors say. Katarzyna Kalodziejewska revealed late last month the 4 people have been arrested and authorities across Europe were investigating the incidents. Western security officials have told US media they believe the fires were part of an orchestrated campaign by Russia's military intelligence agency, the GRU. Russia denies being behind acts of sabotage, but he is suspected to have been behind other attacks on warehouses and railway networks in EU member states this year, including in Sweden and in the Czech Republic. Kalodziejewska said in a statement that a group of foreign intelligence saboteurs had been involved in sending parcels containing hidden explosive and dangerous materials via courier companies. The parcel then spontaneously burst into flames or blew up. Western officials believe the fires originated in electric message machines containing a magnesium-based substance. Magnesium-based fires are hard to put out, especially on board the plane. Zimbabwe's government has banned with immediate effect police officers from using mobile phones while working. The ban is contained in a memo ordering police officers to abandon their private communication gadgets while on duty. All officers are required to surrender their mobile phones to their supervisors once they get to their stations and only use them during their break time. No reasons were cited for the ban in the memo, but it is widely believed this could be part of effort to curb police corruption. It comes a few days after 2 traffic enforcement officers were arrested in the capital, Harare, after a viral social media video exposed them taking bribes from public transport vehicles. Police spokesperson Paul Nyati described the 2 detained officers as bad apples who do not deserve to be serving in the police service. The new mobile policy seeks to reinforce what appears to have been a previous order addressed to all stations late last month. Officers in charge of police stations have been ordered to enforce the ban, with threats issued against those who do not comply. Police are perceived to be among the most corrupt institutions in Zimbabwe due to low salaries and poor working conditions. Still on the international scene, new figures show a 50% rise in the number of police officers sacked and barred from returning to work in England and Wales. Nearly 600 officers were dismissed from the service in 12 months before March this year, up from almost 400 the previous year, according to the College of Policing. The National Police Chief Council, a group of senior leaders, will work together on important policing matters, as it is committed to getting rid of officers who are not fit to serve the public. Dishonesty was the most common reason for being kicked out of the police force, followed by sexual offences or misconduct and discriminatory behaviour. Groups of officers have been punished for sharing deeply offensive WhatsApp messages, while 18 were sacked for possessing indecent images of children and 33 for abusing their position for a sexual purpose. The number of officers sacked, where 593 is less than 0.5% of the overall workforce of more than 147,000 across England and Wales. Most of those who lost their jobs were constables. More than 3/4 of the officers and specials who were dismantled were males. The UK Health Security Agency has confirmed 2 additional cases of Clade IB mpox, bringing the total number of cases in the country to 3. These new infections have been traced to household contacts of the initial case, emphasizing the virus's potential for rapid spread in close contact environments. Both patients are currently receiving specialist care at Guy's and St Thomas NHS Foundation Trust in London, according to a late Monday night release obtained from the UK HSA website on Tuesday. Despite this development, health officials are maintaining that the overall risk of the general UK population remains low. Chief Medical Advisor at UK HSA, Professor Susan Hopkins, addressed the situation, stating mpox is very infectious in households with close contact, and so it is not unexpected to see further cases within the same households. The overall risk of the UK population remains low. The agency has confirmed that comprehensive measures are in place, with all close contact of the known cases being traced and monitored. Lastly, on the international scene, Spain on Tuesday announced an aid package worth €10.6 billion to rebuild region devastated by its worst floods in a generation that has killed 218 people. The exceptional Mediterranean storm that lashed eastern Spain a week ago triggered surging torrents of muddy water that have left a trail of destruction and an unknown number of missing. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez announced a series of measures, including aid to small and medium-sized businesses, self-employed workers and households who have suffered death, incapacity, damage to homes and belongings. Tax relief and reduction and the 3-month postponement of repaying mortgages and loans were also among the announcement aimed at protecting the economy and citizens' livelihood. Security forces and emergency services personnel are working round the clock to repair damaged infrastructure, distribute aid and search for bodies, and Spain's largest peacetime deployment of its armed forces. And that's it from the international scene.
And now we'll move over to entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News. My name is Rose Blossom Mwe. Here's the rest of the story for today. We'll be right back.
Nollywood actress Laide Bakare has shown that she won't tolerate any disrespect after trading words with some guys who allegedly tried to disrupt her movie set. She shared a video of the heated exchange, stating that everybody's head is hot in Nigeria right now and she won't allow anyone to take advantage of her. Fans praised her for standing up for herself in the comment section. Nollywood actor and producer Ibrahim Chatta was honored to receive a visit from the Oyo State National Police Force (NPF) at his film village. He shared a video of their visit on his Instagram page, expressing his humility and gratitude. They discussed community security, piracy, and sensitive movie props in Oyo State. Fans commended him for the collaboration in the comment section. Nollywood actress and movie producer Amoni Obali is celebrating the success of her cinema movie, The Uprising, which has become the #1 Nollywood film of the weekend. She announced on her Instagram page that the movie crossed over 93 million naira within a week, thanking her maker, friends and family for their support. Davido has announced a birthday concert to celebrate his 32nd birthday on November 21st. He revealed on his Instagram page that the concert will feature performances by Odumodu Black, Iko, Mayokon, and others. Nollywood actress Uche Ogbodo has suffered a significant loss due to a robbery attack on her clothing store, which cost her close to 50 million naira. She took to her Instagram page to lament the wickedness and express her tiredness due to the weight of keeping her business afloat. Colleagues, friends and followers consoled her on the loss in the comment section.
And that'll be all on entertainment news. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Rose Blossom. Bye for now.
And that's all we have with Galaxy Primetime News. Thank you so much for being a part of the news. My name is Nenwa Ndimazaka. Goodbye.